Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back, and welcome to how to hook up an unlimited amount of mixers together. So, one mixer is going to be a main master mixer. This mixer is going to be the one that goes to your computer. Now, if you want to use the USB output on your main mixer, knock yourself silly. I prefer not to do that. I actually prefer to use the main system out speakers that would normally go to powered speakers or to an amplifier. I like to use those outputs so that I have the most accurate control of my mix and the most signal going into the computer via my USB box. So I go from the output of the speakers of the mixer, left and rights, to left and right input on my USB Focusrite box, and then it has a USB connection, of course, to my computer, in this case my Mac. And my Mac is used for my main audio recordings for everything that I do. Anyways, that I find is actually the ultimate way to do it, to get the most signal through so that you don't have to blast your files or distort your files from trying to get too much extra out of them when it comes to editing your soundtracks. This way you can get enough power out, you're going to get a nice clean and loud file in the end, which is what you want, because you don't want to crank up a 500 watt stereo full blast to hear a half a watt worth of your sound, okay, type of thing. Anyway, so the mixer on the right here in this case, and it'll always be your mixer to the right, you want that to be your master mixer that's going to go to your USB box and to your computer, or if you're, like I said, going to use the USB output, which I find them too low, but if you want to, USB direct to your computer off the master mixer. Now, when you plug in your first slave mixer, the one on the left here, you're going to take the speaker outs from it, and you're going to go to the input of, in this case, channel 7 and 8. As long as it's a channel that has bass, mid, and treble, just in case you might have to do some sort of a tweak from the slave, okay? Then at least you have control. Otherwise, I would leave these dials all at 12 o'clock if everything's fine and you get plenty of control here. But if you need to have a little bit of extra, then at least it's available if required, okay? So, anyhow, when you're going to hook up your next mixer in line, which is going to be your third mixer in a row, or secondary slave, this becomes kind of like a new master, okay? So your next mixer goes beside it, okay? You will take the speaker outs from it, like this, with a set of TRS plugs, okay? And you'll go to the inputs of one of these channels, okay? Now on this mixer, again, it would be channel 7 and 8, which is what I would recommend, okay, because you have bass, mid, and treble control. If you need it, you also have controllable gain, so you don't overdrive anything coming from the third mixer in. You can actually pull that signal back. The problems with using channels like 9, 10, 11, and 12, or whatever channel your board is, if the channel that you're going to use does not have a gain control, it's going to be harder to control things properly to have the right amount of boost in your mix, okay? Because if what you're doing is something that's got a higher gain, for example, and you can't pull that gain back, then it can cause distortion. It can overrun or peak the meters, okay? So I would use a channel that has gain capability in it. And then this way, when you set your gain for the mixer going into here, you set it here. So what you would do is you press your PFL, your pre-fade listen, and then you would watch the meter and set the gain for whatever's in this mixer. All those channels get set to it, to the third mixer, and then whatever's coming out of that mixer, which will be your house output, has to be controlled by gain in order to go through here. And that's why I would recommend this, because then this way you can also add in a filter if you need to, but do not go into a channel that has the compressors on it. Stay right clear of these channels. These are preferred to be just for mics, okay, because of the compressors on here. but also using the compressors, probably not the best idea, okay? So I would stay away from those channels regardless. And then when you want to put your fourth mixer in, again, you'll do the same thing. You'll come off of its first set of main outs and go into a last set of channels that has bass, mid, and treble on it and a gain control, okay? Now this is still going to give you all of these other channels, all of these other channels, all of these other channels, and all of these other channels. So this way you are expanding the board, but you also get a lot more control out of everything, because now you're going to have also master house here for overall output of the next stage and the next stage and the next stage. And this is how you build yourself a big mixing console without putting out thousands of dollars. As a prime example, I mean, these boards, if you can find the MGX 124 CXs or the UXs, whatever, as used boards, these 12-channel boards, they sell for about $75 to $100 right now, which is actually a good price. Now that's with or without USB. Without USB, about $75. With USB, they'd be about $100 used. And that's about an average price what you're going to pay. And that's the most you should pay, because they're not worth more than that, okay? Not compared to what you can buy brand new nowadays. But these 12-channel boards are really good boards, and you'll get access to the effects in each one of your boards that has built-in effects. You will have full control over the effects. Now, with each board, okay, you're still only going to be able to use, in this case, one effect, which has to be divided between whatever stuff you're going to use. So if you have multiple singers, you're going to want reverb on them. So you pick one of the reverbs, okay? And that's what you're going to get. And then all the singers will get access to reverb, however many of your singers you want reverb, or if you want to add just a little bit of reverb to an instrument, you'll be able to have that reverb there, etc., etc. It's all really in how you want to do things. I mean, I'm certainly not made out of money. I cannot afford, like a $2,000 or $3,000 mixing console. And even if I could, it would be too overkill for being to get access to the toys and that. And for me, like nowadays, I don't even need anything bigger than a 10-channel mixer in here. But if you're getting started at trying to get a recording studio together in your house where you need more than 12 channels, okay, then I would suggest getting a couple of 12-channel mixers and just tying them together like this, and that's going to give you all those extra channels. Now, for each mixer that becomes a slave, okay, it would become, well, this you'd have all your channels free, this you lose a channel. So you lose a channel off this master. This slave, you'll have all your channels, but if you hook a third mixer in, you lose one of these channels, okay, which is fine. And then you'll have all the channels free on your third mixer. Your fourth mixer you'll hook up, you'll have all the channels available on it, but your third mixer loses a channel. So basically each slave becomes a master to a slave to a master to a slave, with everything going down the line to your furthest mixer on the right, closest to your computer. That is going to be your main master. And so everything going into every single mixer, in and out and in and out, everything in the end goes through all this one channel, okay? And then you still have all these channels free that you can use at your disposal to whatever you want, microphones or what have you, okay? And that's a good cheap way to build yourself a large mixing desk without spending thousands of dollars. And you're still going to get really good quality recordings. Now these particular mixers, if I remember correctly, they're 16-bit, but if you have a USB box like the Steinberg UR series or the Focusrite 2 in 2 or 2 in 4, well, 2 in, 2 out, 2 in, 4 out version. I've got the 2 in, 4 out. You convert your 16-bit signal, it goes into the box, and the box converts it to 24-bit audio, which is really good. And then right into your DAW as all full 24-bit, which is good because then you're getting the maximum sound quality recording in the end, right? and you don't have to buy a mixing board that is already 24-bit, which is another bonus too. But if you do buy 24-bit mixing consoles, well then you can do that as well. But on a budget-minded system and getting a big desk built for littlest amount of money, the easiest way is actually to tie the mixers together. Get a bunch of cheap mixers, and you don't even have to stay with the same brand. I had the same brand just because it worked out that way. You know, I got a deal on the one, and then I got a private deal on the other, and they both happen to be Yamaha mixers, and both virtually identical, except one had USB, one didn't, you know, type of thing. And because I'm not doing a lot of the stuff that I used to do, I no longer require even 2 mixers. I just require my 10-channel mixer, and I finally used up another channel today, and I still have one more channel on the board accessible to me for whatever I want. So for me in here, I'm good with my home studio for my setup, because I have my keyboard, I have, you know, my mic as well, well, actually I have a couple mics in this thing, my guitar and so on, right? But I'm just a one-man show. But if you have like a bunch of guys, you got a little band going and you want to record something, and you also don't have a lot of money to dish out, this is the perfect solution for doing that and saving a lot of money, and then you can actually get accomplished a really awesome recording in the end. But that's how it works. So you are not actually limited to how many boards you can actually tie together. And like I said, they don't have to be the same brand. They do not have to be the same amount of channels, period. Okay? You know, it's just the way it goes. You just do it that way. You know, but get what you can. Even if they're older boards and some newer boards, it doesn't matter. You can mix them. It makes no difference whatsoever. You are still going to be able to accomplish what you need to do and build yourself a huge desk without spending thousands of dollars, which is kind of pointless unless you actually have the money or you need to spend that kind of money. But anyways, that's my video on this, and hopefully that fully answers the other guy's question. Now, I did answer him saying that yes, you can tie an unlimited amount of boards together. It's not a big deal. It's super easy to do. I thought I'd do a video explaining how I tied the 2 of them together, because how you tie 2, you tie your 3rd, you tie your 4th, you tie your 5th and your 6th, and so on down the chain. And your main board, which is your furthest to the right, like I said, is your master board. That's going to put the master signals of all these boards and all their channels and all of these channels right into your computer. So, really awesome way to do things. Works really well. I was very happy with this setup when I needed this kind of a setup. It worked great for me, and I've turned out some really awesome recordings even with these mixers, you know, going into the computer. So no problem there. Anyways, that's it. That's all. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.